January 2024 Dataslate. The data slates have always been a little bit like up and down. For the most part, whenever I see the data slates, I tend to see them as like you get your big slate, you get your small slate. You get your big changes, and the next time around, you get your smaller changes. It's like heavy, light, heavy, light. We're on the light side of things right now. This one is definitely a lot less impactful. I kind of wish that they would have taken the changes out of red, because a lot of these red ones you see right here are what they were beforehand, and so I don't know that they're new or not. But for the most part, GW has slowly been increasing their legibility with the data slate. So as we know, devastating wounds were changed. Battle tactics, CP stratagems are the same. Fire Overwatch does not work with Titanic, nor does it work with Ignore LOS. Aircraft, Insane Bravery, these are all the same things, right? You get to the crazier stuff in the faction rules. So, starting off, we have to start with the most important faction of the entire game. How does this affect Space Marine 2? Austin, it doesn't. Space Marine 2 got delayed till September. Deal with it. So, Sisters. First things first, we have Sisters. They changed the Triumph of St. Catherine so that you could only do up to 2 acts of faith per phase. Before, the Triumph of St. Catherine had this insane, ridiculous level of shenanigans where you could do as many acts of faiths as you'd like. This was particularly fun in a very annoying build where what you would do is you'd put a Dialogus next to the a Retributor squad, and I'd have these moments where I would basically be doing like, hey, I'm gonna Overwatch you, and since I turn on my miracle dice to 6s, I'm gonna take 6 dice and just turn them into 6s, and then another 6 dice and turn them into 6s. But here are your guaranteed 6 Melta wounds coming out of the Dialogus and Triumph of St. Catherine. It was really shenanigans, and it was kind of silly, so it seems that this is an attempt to fix the internal balance of Sisters. As a Sisters simp, I'm fine with this. It's a totally fine change. I think it was a little shenanigans, and I'm okay with the adjustment. Sisters aren't doing great at the moment, but it's not this. And when we get to points, there'll be a little bit more of a difference. Custodes! Hi, Custodes. Your incessant whining has paid off. And after an insane amount of period of time, you got your mortal wounds against dev wounds back. Congratulations. I don't like it. Mainly because I have bad memories of Emperor's Chosen from 9th edition, which was the only thing you would ever take, because a 4-up against dev wounds is like the only option you could ever take, and it made it where really cool things like Dread Host just weren't that interesting anymore, and that made me sad. But it's fair for now, because you don't have your codex, so it's fine, I guess. Have your thing back. It's fine. You probably deserve it. It's okay. You needed it. So like whatever. But you know, I just hope it won't be the auto pick, because Emperor's Chosen for 9th was the auto pick for Stodes for so long, and it was really really boring. So I hope that they make some better detachment rules. Eldar! Oh boy. Oh, Eldar. Okay. All right. Certified elf hater. Certified elf despiser. Bricky, Vulcan had it right. Kill him. Rock and Stone, you know how it goes. I almost think that Eldar might have gotten hit too hard. And I know that's a crazy statement from me. And I know a lot of you probably don't give a shit, because you're like, you know what? Eldar have been so insane for so long. Deal with it. I don't even care. And I get it. but internal balance is better than revenge balance. So let me explain. Strands of Fate, basically your pre-game miracle dice, so to speak, are now 6. They started with 12. They halved it. They cut it in half, which is a lot. That's a lot. Half. Wow. They also nerfed. They made it so that the Fate Messenger enhancement, this was a thing you ran with the Wraith Guard to auto do a dev wound. They made it so it's the bearer only. That's fine. That makes sense. Phantasm took another nerf, and it's D6 inches instead of 7 flat. So another nerf to Phantasm. Pretty crazy. Eldrad, they just clarify that you get only 3 more, so it's whatever. Night Spinner got a side grade. Before it was -2 inches and you couldn't advance. Now it's -2 and subtract 2 from advance and charge. This is fine. It might be a little bit better against some things, but for the most part, it's a nerf, which is good because not letting you advance was really dumb. And then they also changed it so that the Incarn can only do this once per turn. And then the Wraith Guard can only fire back at the enemy that shot them. I gotta be honest, these are some serious nerfs. Like, I'm kind of shocked that they went this hard onto the nerfs. I think they'll still be playable. Eldar fans always have a way, you know? Like, every time I think that Eldar are going to be in the dirt, they always find a way. They always just, like, find a way to crawl out and do something about it. Like, they always can. Eldar will still be over 50%. Full stop. Wraithguard are dead. I think Wraithguard are genuinely dead. I think they're completely in the dirt right now. But I think that finally we might have balanced Eldar, because going from 12 to 6 is just holy hell. Cutting it in half, man. So yeah, I think Eldar will still be above 50%, but they might need to lean on different things. So we'll see how it goes. God damn, was that a crazy change, though. I didn't expect this. Fuck them elves. Yeah. That's true. Bricky, they added a plus sign to the left of the changes. Oh, they did add a plus sign. You're right. I didn't even notice it. Very good. Militarum. Don't worry, guys. Militarum is a 45% win rate. We'll get a lot more buffs than the points. Militarum got a voice of command army rule change. So let's talk about that. No, we didn't skip agents. There's no plus sign. Oh, you were shitting. You were fucking with me. God damn you. I didn't. I responded too fast. The classic smoking duck wasn't there yet. So Militarum. So non-guard players probably don't know what the fuck this is. Basically, you did all your orders in the command phase. This now lets you do orders after you disembark or deep strike in. This is a great change. If GW made changes like this more often, we would be in a great spot. This is a lovely quality of life, just nice to have change. It makes Scions way better. It makes Mechanized Guard way better. It makes Reserves better. It makes Gaunt's Ghosts better because they can do that thing where they go away and come back. And then they can give themselves an order when they come back. This is amazing. I love this change. It makes the army function far better. It's great. The issue with Guard is other reasons. Other problems. We'll talk about that a bit when we talk about Jukari. Blood Angels. Their detachment rule is way better. Rolling up with strength 6 chainswords and strength 10 power fists. Oh god. You're wounding redemptors on 4s. I mean, Blood Angels have a lot of other problems, if I'm being honest. They're mainly too expensive. But this is nice. You know, if you're a Blood Angels player, you're probably like, oh, that's kind of cool. That's nice. Yay. Demons. So demons got a buff or a nerf that was not their fault. Basically, you have to have a number of non-battle line for battle line units. The whole point of this is like, hey, by the way, if you're allying in demons, you have to not just bling. My Epidemius has got the rings. It basically just means you can't just take blue scribes, all right, and the changeling. You got to take some horrors with you, which is good and it's nice. It's not really a nerf. It's just, hey, I know it doesn't affect normal demon armies. I know that. I'm aware of that. It's under the name demons, so that's why I said demons. But yeah, it's just the demonic pact rule. So basically, it just means, hey, by the way, if you want to ally in stuff, you can't just bring a changeling. So, but if you were allying Nurglings, you don't even care. So whatever. CSM. Oh man, did they get hit? Now CSM. So I'm in a weird spot with CSM. On one hand, they are one of the best armies in the game right now, no doubt. But they're also one of the best armies in the game for good reasons. Like they're not like annoyingly good. They're well-roundedly good. You know? It's not like Triptide, where it's like, Tower, one of the best armies in the game. And it's like, yeah, because you're running like 3 suits of Triptides and it's annoying and awful and blah, 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 blah. Like CSM, I mean, Tower don't do that right now, but CSM, like, they're pretty well-rounded. I like CSM a lot as an army. They function really well. And I honestly think that the general nerfs here are pretty good. You can only embark in a transport with the same keyword, so no undivided chosen inside of a Nurgle Rhino, for example. The lone op Dark Obscuration went to 18 inches. Love that. That feels great. Love to see that, because making a unshootable Nurgle Rhino full of 10 murder boys is very, very rough to deal with. Profane Zeal, you no longer get to reroll the hit roll, just the wound roll. That's fine. This swing was definitely kind of crazy good. And then Accursed Cultist, they changed it to just your command phase, and they moved it to OC of 1. Personally, I would have kept the OC at 2. I don't think the OC was really an issue, but this was definitely an issue. Any of you who ever fought against CSM with the Accursed Cultist Dark Commune combo had a bad fucking time. It was so infuriating having them regen like 6 guys every battle round. It was so awful. I'm okay with this here, but you know, like it's fine. I don't think the OC change really was needed. I think in a sense, because you're already having their amount of regenning guys, it's not so bad, but you know, time will tell. Personally, I think cultists are still going to be good. The advance in charge of +1 to wound ability from the Dark Commune is already pretty solid, so I don't think it really matters too much. That's just my 2 cents, but for the most part, I think Accursed Cultist will still be fine to use. Death Guard! You can't spam your grenade strat. That's fine. I kind of get it. I was on the receiving end of this once, and it was pretty annoying. It was just like, oh, cool, here you go. Here's like 9 mortal wounds across your whole army. Deal with it for free. I'm like, oh, okay. It was kind of funny, though. Death Watch, nothing happened to you. Your bolt weapons just kind of got a bit of a more... it's explained better, basically, for your strats. That's really about it. Sorry, Death Watch. You're still overcosted as shit and no one cares about you. I'm sorry. Drukhari! Oh boy. Okay, Drukhari. So, if you empower something with Empower from Pain, you get +1 AP on your melee attacks, and Archons can lead Incubi. Can we talk about how Archons couldn't lead Incubi until now? Why the fuck could Archons not lead Incubi? What the hell? Like, who made that call? This was clearly a mistake. It was so dumb. But adding an extra AP to your melee, oh, it's so good. This changes so much. This might make witches, like, not dog shit. But what's even crazier is the fact that this also comes with a brand new index rule. So you have your usual real space raiders, but now they gave you Reign of Cruelty for the Sky Splinter Assault. When you disembark from a transport, you get Ignores Cover on ranged and Lance on melee. Which is really good, because Drukhari are going to be the people who disembark from transports all the fucking time. That's their thing, you know? That's just their thing. And it's better than the other one in like 1,000 ways. The enhancements are kind of okay. They're fine. It's not. They're good. They're good enough. I don't care about the enhancements. It's the strats, dude. What's this? Pounce on the prey. You can move your transport, jump out, and still charge. Kabalite warriors, after disembarking, get sustained hits 2. Your Drukhari infantry unit that just fought can now make a normal move. And you can embark in a transport after doing so? You can ram your transport into an opponent and do 6 mortal wounds basically automatically. And that can be stacked with tank shock if you feel like it. Oh my god. Oh my god. A Drukhari transport has a reactionary move and a 4-up invul. This is good. That's real good. That's real good. Yeah. This is real good. You know what's the funniest part about this whole thing, though? Vicious Blades plus Tank Shock is 2 CP for like 10 mortals. You just like... Man, hey, Dark Angel players, you better pick the 4-up mortal wound thing for the Lion, or else a raider, one single raider with some stinky racks are gonna one-shot Lionel Johnson. So you better pick right. It's really funny. Actually, you might not get all those full mortals because the raider has less toughness than the lion does, I think, but it's just very funny. Is this going to fix Drukhari? I don't know, but god damn, is this a step in the right direction. And let me also make this statement as well, because this is a good timing. This is what Guard needed. I'm going to spoil this for you right now. Guard got diddly dick for point changes. Absolutely fucking nothing. Guard is not good right now, and they got jack. But the biggest issue I have with Guard is that their stupid ass detachment rule is entirely related to just artillery spam. All you do is stand still to get lethal hits. It's awful. It's genuinely awful. And unless you run lots of artillery, which GW has pointed as very expensively, including the Manticore, which is now a Lehman Russ cost, there's just no point. You know what thing I think is pointed the best in all of Guard? It's the infantry. I think the infantry is pointed really well. It's 60 points for 10 models, couple special weapons, so 120 for max of a 20 squad. It's pretty good. But your detachment rule is so bad because it only works if you're not moving. And so who the fuck is keeping their infantry standing still? Who does that? Especially as Guard. Your job is to ram your infantry into the opponent's tank treads so it's clogged up and it can't move. It's very annoying. It's very, very annoying. Like, it's just very aggravating. So, yeah. So guard is crap right now, but the reason guard is crap is because guard need a new detachment rule. The artillery has been pointed to make it bad, and all of your abilities center around artillery, which is just very infuriating. Anyway, Drukhari players, good job. Proud of you. Happy to see it. All right, what's next? GSC have not been changed. Grey Knights. Your Dread Knights are better. Am I crazy in saying that you needed way more than this? Like, who gives a shit? Now, granted, you really should not have been hitting on 4s with your Great Hammer. That's pretty dumb. But 3s is still, like... I don't know, man. You Grey Knight players, you can't kill anything that's a tank. Like, you can't... I watched some guy play Triple Redemptor Black Templars into Grey Knights, and it was laughable how little he could do. Like, he could do nothing. It's genuinely shocking how much of jack all the Grey Knight player could do against anything tank related. Kill infantry really well, but that's about it. Real quick, Necro King, Calgon, Wolf Warrior, Lefartel, and the Ferret Daddy. Thank you for the resubs. Wait, what's this amazing with $5 dono? Read a rule book. What are you, a nerd? Yeah. And no, that is fair. That is true. That is fair. Redemptors are pretty insane right now, but even so, I feel like Grey Knights could have used a little bit better or more buffs. Imperial Knights, you guys get to reroll 1 hit roll or 1 wound roll. You don't even have to just pick like only ones. It's just anything. Cast Knight Castellan stonks to the moon, I tell you. Knight Valiant stonks, fishing for that harpoon dev wounds. To the moon, baby. To the moon. That's it, though. They also didn't remove the Armiger Bondsman ability, which is fucking stupid. Fix the Armiger ability. Why did you keep the old Bondsman? Put the Bondsman back. Put the Bondsman back right now. As someone who doesn't play a meta Sisters list, I made out with the Sisters points nerf and Castellan points buffs. I was able to fit another Magifier on my list. Hey, very, very nice. No, I mean, the Sisters got some good points buffs. I'm actually really happy about that, which is why I'm not upset. The Triumph getting the change, I think, is totally fine, and we got some nice point drops, so I'm cool. All right, Voton didn't change. Little surprised by that. Kind of thought they would go to 3 with a strike force instead of 4 with their judgment tokens. Little surprised by that. But okay. Voton are really good right now. They're like 54. A slight adjustment wouldn't have been too bad. Nothing for Space Marines. Space Wolves, your detachment rule, which is, in my opinion, one of the coolest detachment rules in the entire game, is now mildly less shit. Congratulations, Space Wolves fans. You are still not running it. You are still running White Scars. You are still running Stormlance. But it is now less shit. So if you're a bro who plays with your friends, then this is a little bit nicer. Congratulations. Now World Eaters. Okay, so World Eaters. Okay, so this is a bit of a weird one. If you noticed in the Warhammer Meta Watch, World Eaters were literally not there. And you're probably thinking, like, what the hell? What was up with that? I don't know, because World Eaters are actually very good. Now, I think maybe they have been slightly over nerfed, but World Eaters were actually very, very good. And anyone who plays any level of tournaments can probably tell you that. For the most part, like, how do I? Okay, let me try to explain this. If you've never fought World Eaters, when you fought a World Eaters player, if they went second, you had a game. If they went first, what would happen is they would roll their dice. They would immediately get plus 2-inch move and advance and charge because it's the easy ones to get. Angron would then move up 16 inches and then spend 1 CP for a full 6-inch advance. So for 22 inches. And then he would immediately buttfuck whatever was on the line. Instantaneously. And then after he's done doing that, and maybe your opponent kills Angron, then the rest of the army would arrive in turn 2 and immediately murder you, and then Angron gets revived and does it again. It's not even a game. World Eaters is a first turn win rate craziness right now. They are nutty. So, they made some changes. Berserker Glaive got nerfed. Little annoyed by this because it went from 1 attack and damage instead of D3 attacks and damage on the charge as well. Don't know why they didn't just nerf the Master of Executions. Because the Berserker Glaive is not great on a Lord. It's not great, or like a Juggernaut Lord. It's not great on a Demon Prince. Like, why would I... Like, it's still fine, but the problem here was the Master of Executions, not really the enhancement. Have you seen today's Warhammer YouTuber drama? Do you think I give a shit about Warhammer YouTuber drama? Please. It might not seem like it, but I have better things to do, like talk about a Dataslate. I'd rather plunge my toilet than talk about Warhammer YouTuber drama. Anyway, moving from there, Favorite of Khorne got changed to once per battle. The reason, okay, so Favor of Khorne was just so busted, because it lets you regen Angron like all the time. It was kind of funny. I fought a World Eaters game where Angron came back alive 5 times. 5 fucking times. And it's because of this shit. So they changed it to they changed this to once per battle. This is deserved. This is deserved. This is fine. Demon Prince, though, I don't know why they did this. Like, I don't know. It wasn't really foot slogging Zerkers that was the problem. In, I don't know. Like, I guess maybe. You know what? Okay. You know what? Let me try to say it like this. Like, this is an awful. 8 bound will still have a 4-up. Regular guys will have a 5-up. It's fine. But if they didn't change the points, I think this would have probably been enough. But they also changed the points. And that's why I'm a little iffy on it. Oh, was it Jackals. I didn't think about Jackals. Oh, I didn't think about Jackals. You're right. You're right. That's a great point. And you can Favor of Khorne the Jackals to get them a 5-up, feel no pain. So they were 4-up invul, 5-up, feel no pain, Jack. Ooh. Okay. Okay. That makes sense. That makes more sense. But yeah, like, yeah. I guess that's kind of part of it, right? Is that for the most part, I would have just maybe made the enhancement like up here slightly more expensive, or just nerfed the Master of Executions a bit instead. This is fine. I kind of get this now. That makes a bit more sense. Okay, very well. But they also tacked on points nerfs as well, and that's where I think things get a little bit strange. Because I'm an absolute slut, I think I'm going to upload this as an initial video chatting about things, and then I'll upload another one about the points because I want to milk that YouTube money. Real quick, chat, before we do, any questions on the data slate? Not the points. Any questions? Anything that I can answer for you? Anything that you were curious about with all this kind of thing? Why no Necron changes? Too soon. If you're probably anyone who knows AdMech or Necron, if you're, I'm not going to be meme. If you're new here, if you're new to the hobby, whenever something is right after a codex, they don't make changes. It just doesn't happen because there's not enough time for a new a cycle to be 100% sure. So if you were expecting AdMech or Necron changes, then you were hoping for something that they weren't going to give you. It wasn't going to happen. I didn't expect it to happen. If you thought it was going to happen, then I think you just don't know how this normally goes. And that's not a bad thing. You could be new to the hobby. It's fine. But that's important to note. Do you think there's anyone not listed on the changes that should have received something? I feel like maybe GSC could have used like a slight change. GSC isn't really great right now. I don't think it should like be add another to the result because I don't think it should have anything to do with their coming back ability, but maybe like some unit changes might be nice or something. I don't really know. I feel like GSC is doing a little poor and could be doing a bit better. Grey Knights deserved a bit of a buff, I think. I think they needed a new detachment or maybe like an upgrade to their detachment, kind of like Death Guard. They're a little bit iffy. But yeah, GSC doesn't really feel great. I don't really feel great about GSC right now. I mean, for the most part, Bricky, would Orc's Wa changing from start of the battle round to any command phase be too strong? No, I don't think so. In fact, I think that'd just be a quality of life. That'd be a fine quality of life, I'd say. That shouldn't change much. That sounds fair to me. Bricky, I feel like I'm losing too many games. How the nerfs are preventing me from using my favorite models. How do you cope with these sorts of issues? How do I say this? Really good players can use bad models and do well with them. I don't consider myself a fantastic 40k player, but I consider myself above average. And I'll bring lots of wacky weirdo lists to tournaments, and I'll normally never go worse than like 2 and 3, 2 and 4. Like I'll still win some games. I think maybe it's less about the models you bring and maybe more about like tactics to kind of think about how you're building it. Granted, if you were like, here's my list, Bricky, and it's 18 Outrider bikes, then okay, maybe, you know, just in like 4 aircraft, then I'm like, okay, maybe we got a little bit of an issue here. But for the most part, I think it's just a little bit more about how you pilot it. There are also a few other things like I want to run a lot of tanks. That's cool, but then you don't bring any backfield holders. And it's like, oh, well, no wonder you're having issues. You have an entire 200-point tank holding your backfield. And that's a waste of points. You know? Like things like that. Do you think Custodes change to Feel No Pain should have instead changed game-wide for all Mortal Wound Feel No Pain to include Dev Wounds? Oh, a game-wide, a Feel No Pain against mortals should go with Dev Wounds? I don't think so. No, probably not. I think it would have too large game-wide ramifications that are, it's a bit too widespread. It would be too much too quick. I can't say whether that'd be a bad idea or not, but it's such a vast change that it makes me a little iffy. Are you telling me oops all termagants isn't viable? I mean it is viable is what I'm saying. That's the point. Who else has a feel no pain against mortals? Well, there's a couple. There's the Lions Aura. I think there's a lot of like feel no pains against psychic attacks is one thing. You've got the I can't think of it off the top of my head. There are feel no pains against mortals. I see it all the time, but I can't think of it right now. Let's see. 2 more real quick. Bricky, any idea if you can legally run the Grot Christmas models? Yeah, just like, what's the word I'm looking for? Proxy it as something else. How will this affect the trout population? Oh, we're fucked, guys. We're fucked.